Is this brand new base game update about to break my game? Let's find out together. I am gonna live load up my Sims 4 and see how everything is looking after what is probably one of the biggest updates in terms of like how the game looks and how your families are related to each other. I haven't played my Legacy in a hot minute and I'm a little bit scared to open it up. So yes, base game update came out yesterday. I think they pushed out like potentially the wrong one. Something was not working well. So they were like, hey, if you downloaded that one that released, how about you update your cache and also don't load up your games, and we'll actually push out the right one. And so I think that has been fixed. I'm hoping that the blacked out portraits, like photos, has been fixed. I am not going to be buying the new pack. I am going to use my influence here to say, if you don't agree with the buyout, if you don't agree with the views of the new ownership, also, don't spend your money on the game. If you want to get new content, you know, you can always go monetarily support modders. Family Tree has been updated to expand how you experience and tell Sims family stories. Now have relationship labels for in-laws, half-siblings, great-grandparents, and more. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually use those in Create a Sim. Distant relative in-law, half-sister, half-brother, stepmother, stepfather, stepdaughter, stepson, great-grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandson, great-granddaughter, parents, cousin, cousin's child, grandniece, grandnephew, grand-aunt, grand-uncle, ancestor, descendant, relative in-law. Divorced has a new name, ex-spouse, and deceased spouse has a new name, late spouse. Okay. Close relatives are prohibited from being romantically involved. Prevents autonomous flirting between in-laws or step-relatives. I mean, I would also like distant relatives to also maybe be included in this Sims. Flared staircases. Get ready to create grand-looking staircases. So still no spiral, but you know, you can add a little je ne sais quoi, a little flair to your stairs. You can now widen the top or the bottom, obviously, to get those like sweeping, you know, grand staircases. Not that my Sims ever live in a house that needs a grand staircase. Maybe Judith Ward. Maybe I'll go in and change Judith Ward's house a little bit. Afro textured and curly hair filters. These were all once upon a time lumped in together just under the afro textured hair, whereas now it's actually split into two. So you have curly and then you have afro textured, which is definitely going to make that a lot easier, especially because it felt like when you clicked on afro textured, it was mostly like curly hair that came up first and not actually the afro textured hairs. There is also a new filter, Africana. Makes it easier to sort and find African-inspired items in Create a Sim and build mode. And then also some new jewel-toned nails. And then bug fixes. Let's get into it. Cause photos to turn black, discovered after the January the 13th base game update. I mean, I'm fairly sure I had it happening in my game before then, especially because in the Adventure Awaits like pre-event, I had that happening. Fixed additional instances when entering and exiting build mode would cause UI to disappear. Sims great-grandparents incorrectly had romantic interactions available to them with extended family members. Thank God. Thank goodness gracious for that. Oh, yeah, the likes and dislike buttons weren't working for me on turn-ons and turn-offs. Like, the things were still there and they would still light up the certain colors, but they didn't show the faces or anything like that. Editing merfolks or aliens in Create a Sim should no longer cause crashes. Ooh, that's a short bug fix. It literally is just like base game. That's wild. I feel so bad that I haven't played this since May. I kind of want to do just like two really, really long videos where I just like finish it. Like one generation per video. But I don't know if that's a wild thing to say. I just want to finish a legacy challenge. I've never done it in my life. And I just feel like as a Sims player, I need to do that. So we're actually gonna play as Sparrow and we're gonna go visit our little like graveyard mausoleum type family place that we have over in Sulani. I also wanted to show the family tree. Oh my goodness, this looks wild. kidding me? Whoa, this looks sick. The fact that like you now don't have to like go back through the generations, because obviously before this update, I don't know why it's now like not showing down here. Like it's literally just like stuck in the middle. Show legend, family connection, married, divorce. Yeah, it's now not letting me like stay here, which is slightly annoying. Like if you want to hover over someone, I don't know. I do have mods in my game, but I did update like my UI ones. I feel like you should be able to like drag it over and check, but we have our sister Flash. I don't know where all our other siblings are, because I know that we had way more siblings than this, but obviously Cornelius, oh my god, uncle, that's wild. Distant relative, Gary. Oh my god, Gary finally passed away. I forgot that we were related to the Landgrabs, because where did the Landgrabs come into it? Oh, yeah, we had Aiden have babies with Malcolm. That's the great-grandfather. Nancy, so it only goes to great-grandfather. It doesn't go higher than that. Nancy is just known as like an ancestor. I like how it tells you how they died too. Although I will say this is confusing. It for one, it isn't showing like all of the siblings. You can zoom in. Okay, so this is why it wasn't sticking, but like, why is it still only showing? This is so strange. Do I just not know how family trees work? Is that what is going on right now? It's just like picking random kids, and then sometimes it's like working, and then other times I feel like it's not. And zooming in doesn't really do anything. But then you can see that Hiccup is her niece. We go on his family. Remington, Flash, all of these were his siblings. Like Phoenix is a sibling. So surely they should all be showing on the family tree, should they not? Especially, for example, let's go to Cornelius's. It doesn't show like all of his kids. It's weird. It's like it's not zooming in. One thing I wish they did introduce is that you could get like their portraits, even if you didn't like know them. If they were in your family tree and it was showing as deceased, I wish you could just add their portrait onto these no matter what. I guess whilst we're here, I could also show you the stairs. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how this is gonna work, but there you go. So you drag it out there, and you can't make them any skinnier than what they were, or you can flare them out at the top as well. That's saying it can't intersect with walls, which is like fair enough, because there's walls either side. I imagine if we got rid of that one and we got rid of that one, we may be able to, oh no, we'd probably have to get rid of all the walls. Maybe, or maybe just the first two. Or maybe you'd have to get rid of like this piece of flooring. And then if we go on to banisters, okay, it looks a little strange, I will say. They do look like rather angled. Like they don't have a smoothness to them that you kind of expect on a curved staircase. You still cannot choose the color though. I wish that they'd do this where you could just use this on stairs and railings. Isn't there a way that you can choose like which railing to have as well? Like which side? How do we edit that? Oh, there we go. So you put it down and then, oh, what is this? Oh, that's how long or short you want the rail. So you can go for that, and then you can only have it like, you could have it as mediums if you wanted to, if you wanted some plain stairs at the top and the bottom, or if you just wanted it like at the bottom. That's kind of sick. Then you can choose to have no railing, just a left railing, just a right railing, or the double, which is of course when you're building houses quite handy. It's not going to auto rail anymore, and you're also not going to have these like clipping through walls, tops of stairs, banisters, fences, all of that. You can kind of customize it a lot more. I figured out the family tree thing. It's not anything to do with the game. Like clearly it is showing siblings. I don't really know what this is about. Like I feel like when you move it, you should just be able to move it. It seems to like click at some point like there, and then you can start to move it. I still don't think that's really working the way that it's meant to, but obviously you can see like all of the siblings here. You have Kura, Timothy, Babs, and then also Carlton. In this generation, you had Tremaine, Aiden, and Helmy. This generation wasn't showing like our actual relative on the Singleton side. It was showing like our uncle, but it wasn't showing like our dad. It was just showing Rahul and then Jocelyn Langrab, who is a distant relative. Don't ask me why it's not really showing him, but the reason it wasn't showing these is because we technically had these two as alien abductions. We had this sim with an alien, and technically these aren't classed as like half siblings. These three are, because they share the same father. Whereas I don't know if I had Sparrow actually like adopt these. I probably should have him do so. We can check out the new categories. So for texture, you now have curly, straight, wavy, and afro textured, and none of the curly hairs are actually here. One thing I will say is, because this used to exist and then got removed and then added back in, now custom content hair isn't listed as afro textured. I assume, unfortunately, all of it is going to be in curly. So you could either, I think, re-tag stuff in Sims 4 Studio, but don't quote me on that. I've never actually done it myself. Or custom content creators are going to have to go through like their backlogs, and then you're going to have to like re-download everything, which I imagine CC creators, if they are gonna do that, they'll upload them all into like a zip file that you can just like take all of their past stuff. But if you don't mind it too much, then you can just go into curly and know that predominantly your afro textured custom content is gonna be in curly. If we go to style, we have Africana over here. Apparently no tops. We have this jumpsuit here, and then it doesn't even exist for feminine trousers. I mean, I thought it would be across the board, but okay. Currently, only one item so far in the entire game is classed as Africana for feminine styles. Again, doesn't exist for trousers for masculine sims, nothing for them, and then this one top, which surely Ebonix's, the dashiki should be in there. I don't know, sometimes it just feels, I know that the tagging system has always been bad, but when you're introducing something new, surely these are the things that you should like actually double check, especially if you've literally just said like, hey, we're doing afro textured, we're making it more accurate, these things are gonna be tagged correctly, and then stuff like this gets missed, which just feels really, really obvious even as a player. I do know that you could have like some extended family by like playing around with relationships in Create a Sim, and I feel like a lot of simmers didn't really know that anyway. So I've made this sim an elder, and then let's play with their genetics. We'll go for their child, who is gonna be an adult, and then obviously if we play with her genetics and we say let's add a teenager, if we go into edit relationships, that is going to be grandmother, and then this is going to be mother. We could choose to go household member, you could also choose to go sister. Again, if we go back to the mother and we add a sim and we play with genetics, you can go for a sibling, and then we'll also do him as an adult. She is now his niece, and if we go on her, she will have like the uncle tag towards him. So this was something that you could like always kind of do. But then if we actually go to like household member, can we then choose no? You can't choose to have her as like a grandmother. You can still only have mother or sister. If we go to mother, that automatically makes her grandmother, and that automatically makes him uncle. Whereas now they're all household members again. We can only go father, brother. You can't like choose uncle. you can't choose cousin. So they haven't really updated these in terms of create a sim. It just kind of works the way that it always has, where you actively have to go in and like make those through the family, like through either playing the game and having this play out or through create a sim. For example, again, we can play with genetics. We can make him a child. And then if we go back to identity, Luna is now his cousin, because obviously she is his aunt, that is her daughter. So you have the cousin there. But you can't change these because they're like pre-existing sims. Again, I don't really know why I was having that issue in my Nightmare Legacy and why that one sim was like classed as a pre-existing sim. But definitely interesting to see that they haven't been added to create a sim. So you're still gonna have to like play this out or do it the way that you've always been able to do, rather than just creating like a family of 8 and choosing the relationships like through the drop-down menu of edit relationships. Interestingly, in game options, you can now show adopted sims. Show whether a sim was adopted by their parents within their sim profile. You can turn this off if you want to. It is off by default in new saves, or you can actually turn that on. And I also want to go in and check out 2 families that are definitely interesting, who obviously have a lot of lore, not only just in The Sims 4 when it comes to the land grabs and Johnny Zest. I want to see if maybe they focused on that relationship a little bit, but then also the goths. We're on Bella right now, so let's head to her Simology. Bella's family tree. Oh, this is actually showing the icon. I don't know why my other one wasn't. Maybe it was like slightly too cluttered. Maybe they just like stopped showing that icon eventually. So they haven't added in like any ancestors for her. Oh, but they have for Morty. So if you click on Morty, you have Agnes Crumplebottom as his aunt, and then you have Cornelia Goth as his parent, and then you have her parents, Prudence Crumplebottom and Simon Crumplebottom. But you don't have who she was married to. Deceased, death by fire. And then Agnes is her sister, obviously a garden shop owner. Oh my god. Wait, does he actually know Agnes? Whoa, okay. I mean, one sim difference. Also, just as a heads up, this only works in like brand new saves. So if you're going back and playing one of your old saves, this will not be here. Oh my god, this is so annoying. My big head is everywhere that you lot need to see. I'm so sorry for how messy this video is. But yeah, new saves, you will actually know Agnes as Mortimer. Bella unfortunately doesn't have anyone, which kind of just ties into the theory that surely this is the Bella that went missing. All her memories have been erased. Family tree gone, dunzo. And again, when you go on the kids, this is how like far back you get. There isn't anyone past the Crumplebottoms. I mean, his relationships are kind of gonna give it away. Jeffrey and Nancy. Don't like that they're like straight up just like friends. Also weirdly doesn't know Malcolm, which I guess kind of makes sense. Like maybe they don't get on, but yeah, I don't like that he is friends with like Nancy, especially when like it's kind of like known that she basically disowned him. Actually, nothing for these two in terms of like their relatives. He now is brother of Malcolm Landgrab, and Jeffrey is the father, Nancy is his mother. Nothing when it comes to the Calientes either. There's a slightly longer video than I was expecting about this new update. I know I didn't go into too much depth when it came to like the stairs, but I imagine builders are gonna do a better job at like showing that off. I pretty much just showed like how they worked, how you could potentially use them. I am sorry for the little bit of confusion that I had with family trees. What can I say? It has never been my forte. But I think obviously legacy players, if you have like 10 generation households, they said they focused on like 10 generations, so 5 above your sim and 5 below your sim. Really, aside from that, it just like starts calling people descendants. I'm sure those of you who have actually played and like know about this will also leave it in the comments down below and be like, girl, this is why it wasn't really working for you. Or if it's just like not really working the way that you were expecting, I would also love to hear that, of course. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.